Hi, this is Pamela. I'm so glad that you came to the website, and I wanted to introduce myself to let you know that I am a real person, and this is not just some vacuous website where you would put your information in and then it just goes off into the internet cloud space, wherever. I do get your information directly into my email. So I will be the one reaching out to you. And I want to let you know there is help available. I personally have been through two foreclosures, and it happened a number of years ago. I defaulted in 2009 due to certain circumstances. I had bad tenants. They trashed my property. I ended up having knee surgery. I lost my job and basically ran out of money, and I just couldn't pay the mortgages. And so it happens. People encounter circumstances that are out of their control, and it can really do a number on your life. So um, I went through the whole gamut of emotions. At first I figured, well, I'll just stick my head in the sands and it'll go away, but it didn't. I went through denial, like this can't be happening to me. How can this happen to me? I was embarrassed. And then you just get to the point of desperation, and then you start reaching out. And back then in 2009, it was like the wild, wild west. People didn't know about short sales. There really weren't any highly trained professionals that really understood the process because it was pretty new. It was still early on in the real estate crash back then. So things got drawn out for a long time, and it was a very painful period. And the crazy thing is, my pain just ended this year when my last property went to foreclosure auction this past June of 2016. So, it's a long process. And not only is the process long, but then the financial ramifications, because if you get a judgment against you, that'll haunt you for 20 years. So it's really a serious situation. And even if you are in the very early stages, maybe you recently defaulted, maybe you're 3 or 4 months behind and you just got a notice of default, also called a list pendants from your lender. I urge you, do not wait, because the longer you wait, the less options you have. So you only have a certain amount of time, like 6 months, to do a loan modification. If you truly want to stay in your house and your situation that put you into the financial crisis that got you into the defaulted situation, if that's going to change, then I highly recommend doing that. And if you contact me, I can direct you to people that can help you with getting a loan modification, because that's a challenge in itself working with the lenders. But that would be your first thing to do. Don't put it off, because once it gets past 6 months, that option is gone. Then there's another option where they will put your defaulted amount on the back end of your mortgage. That's called a forbearance. So the word escaped me for a moment. Um, the problem with that is it actually doesn't lower your payments. It will more than likely increase your payments, because now you're adding money onto the loan. They may extend, if you have a 30-year mortgage, they might extend it to 40 years. That's highly unlikely, but it's possible. So that's something that, if you can't get a modification, you can try a forbearance. Once it gets past that stage, the only other options you have would be to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, which is basically signing over the deed to your house to your lender and walking away from the situation. It still is a ding on your credit, but still not as bad as a foreclosure. And then the other option, which is really the best solution out of all, is doing a short sale, which is where your lender will accept less than what is owed on the property. Of course, you can't be the one making the offer. You have to have an outside buyer, and you have to have a real estate agent involved in the transaction. So, really, the only way if you want to stay in your house is to, nip this in the bud early. Hopefully, your financial situation is going to change and you can get back on track by doing a loan modification. But if that's not an option, please reach out to me. I will be more than happy to help you through this situation. I have a team of professionals that this is all we do, are short sales. And this year alone, it's now October. We've done about 500 short sales. So, to say that we know what we're doing is kind of an understatement. Our days to closing is generally 73. That's the average. But I always say give it at least 90. And really, every case is different because there are no two short sales that are alike. It's not a cookie cutter type of process. Um, some people ask me, what about bankruptcy? Because I've had clients that thought when they saw that their house was actually on the auction block about 3 or 4 days before they filed an emergency bankruptcy. And yes, it will cancel the auction, but it's a temporary fix because it basically gives you what's called a stay for 3 months. But then in 3 months, your lender can file for the foreclosure auction again. So if you go into it thinking that if you file bankruptcy, that'll give you 7 years and you can still stay in your house, I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. And of course, I'm not an attorney, so if you want legal advice on something like that, I highly recommend that you speak with a bankruptcy attorney. Now, if you do a Chapter 13, which is where you reorganize your debt, yes, then you can stay in your house, but the lender has to agree on a repayment schedule. So that is another option. But if you do Chapter 7, then no, there's no repayment, but it doesn't wipe out that debt. So the other thing a lot of people don't know, this is Emmett, is that the banks, once they get a judgment against you for a deficiency after the foreclosure, which means that if you owe $1 million on the house and it sells at a short sale for 500,000, well, the bank is losing out 500,000, so they still want that back, but obviously they're not getting it back from you. But what they do is they notify the IRS and they say, hey, this person just had $500,000 of income because they owed it to us, but we didn't get it. So what they do is they actually send you it's called a 1099-C, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I actually just got an amended one. This is from my foreclosure in New Jersey, which New Jersey is also a judicial state. And I'm just holding my finger over my social there. Florida is also a judicial state, which means that the foreclosure action has to go through the court system and they get a judgment against you. Just so you know, that judgment can haunt you for 20 years. They legally can come after you for 20 years to get that money. So please learn from my experience and my mistake and really my ignorance back then. Again, there was nobody to help me. And now at least you have the advantage of having someone like me on your side to help you through this process. So if you'd like to just get some information or maybe get started with doing a short sale on your home before it goes to foreclosure auction, that would be my best recommendation to you. You can enter your information below. There's a little sign up box there. And as I said, I will respond to you directly. The other thing is that the process, yeah, it's a little bit involved. It's not fun and it's tedious. Mainly the part that you would have to participate in is getting me all the financial documentation that we need to process the short sale. So if you're fine with that, great. Again, please contact me. But if you want to contact me and say, hey, yeah, I want you to do this short sale for me, just take care of it. I don't want anything else to do with it. I want it off my plate. I can't deal with it. then don't contact me because I need to have your cooperation and participation in the process. Otherwise, it won't work. I cannot do a short sale without your participation. So I've spoken long enough. I may have answered some questions. I may have raised more questions than I answered. But if you have any questions or comments, please again reach out to me. I am here to help you in any way that I can. I wish you all the best in this next phase of your life, and I do look forward to speaking with you personally. Thank you and have a great day.